everybody, Debra Amerson with the Smartest Studio series here in Northern California. Today I'm at the San Geronimo Valley Commons, which is an open space, a gift to the community. And I'm in front of a very large tree called Mama Cass. And I call her that because she's a big tree, big old California oak tree, heritage tree. And I just love it. And so we're going to talk about AI script writing and use this tree as our subject matter. This is just a beautiful, beautiful tree, and it's the most prominent feature. I'll pan out and show you. This is an old golf course that within the last 5 years has been rewilded. That means no more pesticides, no more water. So what's happening is the non-native trees are dying and they're letting nature take over. And this is just the most beautiful tree to me on the whole place. And this is an 18-hole golf course and it goes across the road over there. So it's a real gift to the community. So in AI script writing, the idea is the more specific you are in describing what you want to see, the more accurate the image that will be generated. Now, if you're following my videos, you know that I use ChatGPT and a paid feature called DALL-E. And that's just my way of doing it. There are other platforms you're able to use, and we've talked about that in the first video with my guest Amy Carr, so you can refer back to that video. But let's go up to this tree because this tree will become the subject of a script that we're going to write together for this video. So let's go meet Mama Cass up close. So the first thing that you probably notice is this amazing moss hanging from the branches. It is a California native Spanish moss, and this moss only grows in areas where the air is super clean. So I live in a rural community north of San Francisco by about an hour, and it's just glorious. Look at this. Okay, so there's the moss. So we would obviously have to mention that moss if we want our image to generate looking like this tree. The next thing is, look at the size of that trunk. That trunk is about 9 feet across, massive. And these branches that are coming off the trunk, they're equally huge. I mean, each one of these branches could be a whole tree of itself. It's amazing. This is so amazing, this tree. So let's pan up and take a look. And on the branches, I see some green moss and the oak leaves and this beautiful California Spanish moss. It's really, really pretty. All right, so that would be something we would mention in our script writing. The other thing is the bark. So let's take a look at this bark and see how we would describe it. Well, I can tell you it's very thick and it's very deep. It's black, gray, tan, brown. There's a little bit of like gold lichen on it. And I mean, just look at the size of these branches. This is massive. I'm gonna turn this way to give you a better look. So I would say very thick bark. You could even add how many inches thick. Like some of this is, wow, it's really thick. I mean, 3 inches maybe on some of this. Curvy. And describing your subject is huge. So the more detailed you get, the more you're going to get what you want in your image. So I'm going to sit down on one of these makeshift benches that someone made, and we're going to take a look and talk about what, oh, that's a cool angle. Talk about what to say in a script to create this image. So I would start with, I want to create a California heritage oak tree with a 9-foot trunk circumference with tree bark in black, gray, brown, tan, white, and mustard gold. And I want it to be about 3 inches thick and show the wisdom and the age of the tree. Like, here's a sample of that. The tree should have curvy, mature, vertical branches that go up and then go out horizontally, very large. The branches are covered with suckers of leaves and also sparse and yet full areas, I would call it like tufts of growth or areas of growth. And the branches are curvy, like kind of like an old woman's fingers. But I wouldn't say that because the AI will pick up and put on some woman's fingers on the tree branches. So you can think like that, but I wouldn't write that personally. I would write like just curvy, what, I don't know, let's think about this. These branches are so intense. Curvy, twisted, they have character and wisdom and spirit. I mean, I am feeling the nature under this tree. It's so great. So that's what I would say. And then we would generate, there's a stool, there's some stools underneath, add a couple of the little stools. And then the background is rolling hills. And I would say the time of the year is August. And I would say in Northern California, the vegetation is like foothills. And it is gold grass. We're the Golden State. And then I would hit generate and see what happens. So let me write that out and share my screen and show you what that looks like. Okay, folks, we are now looking at the image that I generated based on the script that we kind of talked about while we were at the Commons today. And I'm pretty happy with this image. I think it's a very nice, beautiful oak tree. I think the real tree is prettier, but I think it's a very nice depiction. It's a lot more mossy in here than the Mama Cass tree. And I actually think the Mama Cass is even wider in the trunk, but this is very nice image. What's not congruent, but I didn't specify, said Northern California, rolling hills in August. This foliage right here is more reminiscent of San Diego and Southern California. It's kind of a succulent type plant. So that's the only complaint I would have with that image. I didn't say to put the benches in at the first go around, but I'm very happy with that image. I think the hills look similar. I just think it's a nice image. So that's kind of cool. And then I thought I would try another one, and there's the second one, which I also think is a very nice image. And it could certainly pass if I said something about, if I was writing a story about where I live, and I wanted to talk about the oak tree at the San Geronimo Valley Commons, I think that would be, a nice image to use. I think it would work. So very happy with that. What I did want to do was add the rustic wood benches. So I wrote a little script, and this is an example of how you can tweak and modify and refine your images by being very specific. So what I said was, let's create a similar image to image number one being the first image generated on the left above, and add two simple rustic wood benches made with a single plank of wood attached to two logs for each bench. Place the benches near the tree roots and in a way that would allow people to talk and visit comfortably. The benches are weathered and gray, similar to the style in image one. And this is what came out. Not bad, except look at this. This is not factually correct. So this is a great time to talk about AI and what it does sometimes. Sometimes you're driving along and you've made a turn signal, you want to go a certain direction, and AI takes you in the opposite. And it does something really strange, like placing a bench. They flattened out the roots on this tree, almost like a floor, and added a bench on top. So this is completely not factually correct. So what we do to train AI that it's going the wrong direction is you click this bad response. You say, not good. We don't like this. And they're going to learn, the machine learning goes, okay, it's not factually correct. And it gives you choices down below. And I've already connected that. I've already clicked that. So you're not seeing it, but I clicked not factually correct so that it learns, don't generate these kind of images. So I wrote, the benches should have the logs in a vertical position and only show two benches. Recreate an oak tree like the previous version number one with less prominent roots showing, because the Mama Cass tree doesn't have that big of a root system showing. Okay, so then we go down, we click that, and here's what came out. Okay, here's an updated image with the oak tree and two rustic benches, now supported by vertically positioned logs. The tree has less prominent roots as requested. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to modify. Well, yes, there is. The tree looks better than the previous version. It looks very realistic. And I mean, it doesn't look like Mama Cass, but it could. For anybody that doesn't know the tree that I showed, it certainly could pass for that. But check this out. Okay, I asked for two benches only, and it gave me all these like campfire benches, and it raised these benches really high. And they kind of look like Stonehenge monoliths. So those are not right, but that's me not being clear, saying the benches, the two benches, wooden benches should be, 1.5 feet off the ground with logs in a vertical position, something like that. So I didn't get as clear as possible. So again, I would hit bad response. I don't like it. And then in here, I'm going to say not factually correct. Okay, and that's how the machine learning works. It learns from our feedback about what we're being given by the chat. We're saying not going to work. So then it's going to continue to refine and get better over time. That's the other thing about using AI. It's machine learning. So it is going to become your greatest collaborator if you educate it and feed it information about who you are, what your style is, what your goals are, what was your past. The more information you share with your AI companion, you are going to get better results. And when I say companion, for me, it's a collaborator. And so I'm going to go back I'm going to close this and I'm going to go back to the first image and say that I'm pretty happy with that image. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comment section. Happy to answer your questions. And that's kind of my wrap on AI script writing. You have to have a paid account through Chat GPT to access DALL-E. It's spelled DALL-E. And you can play around with that. There are other platforms for AI that you can use, and you're welcome to adventure on in those. Anyway, everybody, I'll see you next week on the Smartest Studio series. Have a great day and take good care of yourself. Take care. Keep making art.